Can you hear me all
Do
right?
you mean do you mean we're in a black hole?
Yeah, in the middle of a black hole. So, but anyways, awesome. Well, thank you guys for being here. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak to you guys today. Similar to what we did last year, but just share a little bit of my experiences with you guys about my internship for round two. So to get started, for those of you who know me, hi. For those of you who don't, my name is Trey Hamilton. I'm currently at school at University of North Carolina, Wilmington, and my major is computer science with a concentration in business and a minor in cybersecurity. This was my follow-up second year internship with IBM, and luckily I was able to come back onto the same team that I was involved with last year and kind of continue getting more experience and gaining more knowledge. And with that, I kind of just jumped right in whenever I first got back. I think it was a very good thing to have a foundation where last year I came in and really learned what IBM was about, what we here at the IBM Watson Health SecOps team does, and what we strive to do, and how we go about accomplishing that. And through last year's internship, I was able to learn about all of the resources and tools and things that we did on a daily basis and why it was essential for us to do that. This year going into it, I had that same knowledge that I gained from last year, but kind of knew this is what's going to be expected of me and this is what I need to get in there and go ahead and start doing. And the first thing that I did when getting in here would have been to continue working on QRadar. So that was a big deal last year. Not only for the reason that QRadar is a highly implemented tool that we use pretty much every day here at IBM, but also back at school on the cyber defense team, I was the head QRadar guy during the competitions to help monitor our networks and check the logs and try to find events that were going to be flagged. With that, this year at IBM, we have log hunting calls mostly Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And during this call, it is the SecOps team members that are on the call, and we just go through and look at offenses and log events, such as this one right here that is on the screen. So during one of the calls that I was leading, we came across this event, and it was like a unknown user from a different IP trying to log in over 6,000 times, or how many it might have been. And from that, we flagged this one. We took a couple of screenshots, sent it over to somebody who was able to help take care of that offense and just manually block that IP to not allow that to be trying to access us anymore. And then with that information, something that I believe Srini and the SecOps team started was helping to keep track of the data from each one of the log calls. So in each of the log calls and the differences in the bottom left-hand picture right here, you can see where we have who was on the call at the time, general overview of what we did, and any other notes of things that we might have found or located during that call. And that proved to be extremely helpful throughout the year of leading those calls because we knew where we kind of left off at. We even knew what to follow up on if we hadn't heard something back from the last offense. So that was extremely useful. So my first kind of minor project here.
So Trey,
Yes, ma'am.
Trey, ask you a quick question on the QRadar log hunting. So you say you also did that for school. Some of the experience with our team that helped you, did you, see similar situation? How much to working here actually helped you in the school environment?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you see similar kind of issue or?
Yeah, we did. So during the competition, a little overview of the competition, I think is what you're asking for, is during the competition, IBM and a lot of other companies supply what you would consider to be red hat hackers. And myself, along with other members of a team, sit around a table in a conference room similar to this one that I'm in right now, and we take care of issues that are being thrown at us. So they're trying to hack in, they're trying to SSH into our machines, they're trying to install rootkits, they're trying to do a lot of things on our network. And so as one of the tools that we had available to us was QRadar, and with my experience from last year, the team asked me to step forward as the QRadar admin lead for the team. During the competition, everything that was coming through, all the login attempts, such as the one that I just spoke about. So yeah, this example right here that I experienced here at IBM through this year was definitely something that I saw on the team during a competition. That login attempt, seeing the IP it was coming from, seeing how many times that attempt was made and from where, was definitely something that I learned how to do here that I was able to carry over and implement into my school and team life back at Wilmington. So it did help out an extreme amount.
Cool. Very good.
So the next thing.
I'm not put you on the spot, so.
Oh, not a problem.
If there's nothing there, it's okay too. So is there anything that in your competition that you guys notice that, you know, when you do our accounting that you don't see, or something you learn from your school experience?
I think the ones that we experienced during the school was very directed in what we saw that was being logged, because it was the same attempts every single time. Here, I kind of saw a little bit more things that were kind of like false positives that may have been like a Nessus scanner or something that was scanning a machine, doing it rapidly lots of times, and it kind of gets flagged on QRadar. So I think with my overview of seeing different types of logs, I got a broad sense here where the one at the school was very directed.
I see. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Cool.
So the next thing would be my wiki launch page, and that was something that I believe Brian Swartz asked Srini to have me see if I couldn't try to tackle. And so with this, Watson helped. We have a launch page here, and with that, there's a lot of resources on there, and with so many resources, it kind of got a little bit cluttered up and hard to navigate. So to help assist with that issue, I went in and I developed just pretty much a home page on the Watson Help launch page, and here you can see where we have a good amount of categories. Also have everything labeled in alphabetical order to try to help with the easing of finding something that you're looking for. So you come in and let's say you're looking for the blockchain solution, SRB approved. You click right there on that hyperlink and it immediately takes you to that next page. So this was just a small little minor project I got to working on alongside leading the QRadar calls. And here's where I kind of dove into my learning and understanding of this year, and it was something that was different than last year, and it was going through and learning about the cloud container services that IBM was starting to offer, such as Kubernetes, and learning more about containers and clusters. So Srini advised me as a part of my learning and trying to advance in my knowledge while I'm here at IBM to take some certification with the IBM Cloud Kubernetes Service. And I went through and I did those classes, and I sat alongside with Pavel, Srini, Ankit, and kind of figured out how to create these, how to look for nodes, how to go through and see what it was you were trying. So I was able to develop my own clusters, go ahead and get the nodes, get the updates, run it, and really see kind of what we're trying to implement here at IBM. Now this was a new topic to me. I had never heard anything about this beforehand of coming here. So it was definitely a new thing to me to have to adjust to. But through the help of the team and through just trying to sit there and listen and watch and observe and learn, I really feel like I got a solid grasp and an introduction to the cloud container services, which is an amazing thing, seeing where IBM is trying to head, where we're wanting to go and get off certain environments and move to the cloud environment. So with that, I was extremely glad that I was able to have a team to help support me and try to bring me up into that environment to where I could start advancing alongside of them.
Very good. I think that's something we are learning too, so.
Yes, ma'am.
Glad that you just,
Oh, of
share
course.
with us too. Cool.
Of course. And so the next thing, and kind of a bigger portion of things, would be PIM, Privileged Identity Management Tool. And this was something that after I finished up with the wiki launch page, I still had a good amount of time here. And Srini asked me to follow alongside the lead of this project, Ankit, about trying to figure out what PIM was and just really gaining an understanding for it and how it was supposed to be implemented into Watson Help. So recently, last week, we had our intern showcase here at the RTP location, and this was actually what I was showing off on behalf of our team about what we were kind of trying to implement, and what was something that was the big part of my summer, what I was really learning about, what I was extremely interested in, and wanting to see come to fruition and kind of be assistance of in any way that I could, whether it was a little or a lot. So that would be me right there with the little billboard that I worked on behind me, and a little bit of a diagram and overview of PIM and what it is. And so for right now, I'm going to try this and see if it works. I believe it should, but you know how live demos can be. They could be a little bit off points at certain times, but we're going to try and see what we can make happen right here. So this would be your PIM Secret Server Thycotic dashboard, and a little bit about the console. And why this is important is PIM is really a tool to help manage root passwords and privileges that certain users and groups have access to. Recently in the past, we've seen with some of our CSP environments and our CDT environments that there's not really been effective or any ways in some cases of managing a root password. And this is just a big no-no. It violates HIPAA security policies, it violates IBM password policies, and it's just not really getting the job done to the efficiency that it should be. So thankfully there's a tool out here called Privileged Identity Management, PIM for short, that can help assist us with that matter. And in a specific way, it's very simple to understand and a very complex thing at heart. So right here, you have two different types of accounts. You have the PIM owner and a PIM viewer. And for members of the security team and others, the PIM viewer or the PIM owner is something that only those members really have access to. That's if the root password for those accounts need to be changed, and that's something that's kind of at your high access level point. The one we're more focused about here is definitely going to be our PIM viewer. So with some of the environments, which we have two machines in right now, 162 and 163, what we can do here is keep track of who logs in at what time and who leaves. So if there's a change made at 2:33 in the afternoon and you want to know who logged in, who did it, and who left, you can go through here and see, because there's a thing called a check-in and a check-out process. So think of it as if we're going to a library. And to start, let's say we need to access this server right here. We can go in and press View. Okay? And that right here on this screen, it's going to require us to be able to check out. Now, just like if you go to a library and check out a book, what we're doing here as a user is checking out a password. So we're going to go ahead and go through with that and check out the password. And right here, you can see where the password is and get that password to be able to log into this machine. So then, let's say you go in, you're the user, you make your changes because it's a shared ID. It's not specifically just your ID, but it's stuff that other people need access to at certain times to go in and make changes in a specific environment. Well, now what we're going to do is check that password back in. So we're going to come down here and just simply check in, and then you're good. What happens now is that there's a new password that is generated and ready to be checked out by the next person that comes in. So there's no real password sharing between people. There's no getting a password lost and trying to re-find it. And a great thing about this is even though it's a shared ID, you can still go and check out back into here and go View. And you can go down here to where you have the View Audit and view right here where Trey Hamilton went in and checked in or checked out this password at this specific time, and be able to pinpoint what changes were made specifically by different users. And so with this tool, I was able to learn a good amount about PIM and really see how it was going to be implemented into Watson Health, as for right now we just didn't really have that many effective ways of doing this, and now it seems like, you know, through the hard work of Ankit and other members of the team, that they were able to get it set up and have it working efficiently. And so that was kind of one of the bigger projects that I was able to work on this year, and that was a really big deal to me. I'm glad I was able to tag alongside and really just kind of observe others and how they had to work through problems to be able to get this to work. I know there was some stuff going on with the network that Ankit was working on for a good time and was able to help get resolved. And I know other members of the team just helped tag along and try to help him out in any way that he was able to. And so I was definitely glad to try to be a part of that as much as I could. And so, all in all, my second internship here, it was just an amazing experience. I feel like there was so much for me to be able to gain, and it just absolutely flew by. After last year's internship, I definitely knew this would be something that I wanted to come back and do. This confirms my thoughts even more that cybersecurity is definitely the field for me. That is definitely something that I'm passionate about, helping to fix, helping to maintain, and just something that I ultimately would love to see myself do. And I'm super glad and thankful to IBM through all the opportunities they gave us this year as interns, and just